Alright. Let's see. Unleashed powers are now available for purchase. Okay. You unlocked alpha survival and beta rescue missions. And is that it? Okay. I don't remember that one either, but then again, like I've stated before, this is probably the first time, or second time overall I've played the story mode, this thing straight through. So, these, I guess, are the Unleashed ones, so they're... Wait, hold on. There's Mega Finisher... Alright. Yeah, I think it pretty much just a moment ago basically said, oh yeah, you're not going to be able to unlock these if you just do extra, the extra stuff to earn skill points in the main game. You have to kind of do battle arena stuff, or just challenges, which kind of sucks, but I guess it makes sense to give them, have them give you a reason to do other parts of the game. But, yeah, so that's pretty much everything we upgraded in order to get through the game, and we got through it pretty good. We didn't have too many difficulties through this. Yeah, the map isn't there. But, yeah, I've stated a couple times also in previous parts that I do not think, I don't think I'm gonna do the, arenas, because basically if you look at the parts that we played through when we played through the arenas in the story, it's basically the same thing, only they throw more and more enemies at you, or whatever, depending on what type of challenge arena you've chosen. But it's basically the same thing as in what is in story mode, because, there's not much difference, it doesn't need to be. So I don't think I'm going to be showing those off, because we essentially have, because they're mandatory parts of the story, and that's how you unlock them. Another thing I was kind of thinking back and forth, trying to decide whether I wanted to do this. I think I've made up my mind. I don't think, like, in free mode, there's extra things you can do that basically are only really that important for, skill points, basically. That's basically all they're good for. And, just getting a little bit of extra content, I guess, out of free roam. Like, I'll show you here. Okay. I was trying to zoom in with the L2 and R2 triggers, but it's one of those games where you have to move up and down on the right thumbstick. But anyway, the extra stuff consists of, police drones, races, that's not one of them, graffiti areas, and I guess you could count these. Although those are only good for skill points, like even more so than anything else. But yeah, you can see how many of these we didn't end up doing, and we did a decent amount of them, I think, through the playthrough. But yeah, I don't think these are the things that I was kind of trying to figure out if I wanted to show off in extra parts. But I don't think there's all that much of a need to, because it's much like the battle arenas. The reason why I'm not going to be showing those off in extra videos is just because, basically it's the same thing as when you're playing in story mode, only with some differences. But it's the same arena, and it's a similar idea. And same thing goes for these extra side missions, or side content, whatever you want to call them. Same thing goes for these. We did at least one of each of these during the story. Like, I remember, I think there I go, hitting the wrong button again. I think, like, at the beginning of the game, it's mandatory that you do one of these little races. And then I think the only one that isn't really a mandatory thing that gets introduced in the story in some way, shape, or form is the graffiti. I think you can do those at any point. But, like, the police drones, there's a part that's mandatory in the game where you have to destroy drones, I think, that are the police drones. And it's basically the same thing as when you're doing it in story mode. It's like the exact same thing. So that's why, I don't think I'm gonna be doing any extra videos just tackling all of these, because not only would it be very samey, over and over and over again, it's just something you guys have already seen. So I don't want to bore you guys with that. Then there's also stuff that never stops being put into free roam, because every once in a while, if you decide to boot this game up and go into free mode, there's going to be pedestrian hostages, there's going to be drive-by shootings, and then there's also, I don't think there's going to be one on the map right now, but there's also, I think, like ATPs or whatever they're called, that can be, driving around the city as well. But other than that, there is not really all that much stuff to do in the city after you finish the story, because, and a matter of fact, I think the city is probably a bit more lively during the story than it is after the story, which is kind of upsetting, I guess. I mean, I'm not trying to say upsetting because, this game's been out for like however many years now. I'm just saying it's kind of weird that they went for, not to have it that lively. Like, I know a lot of open world games, going back to the Arkham games, because I think the Arkham franchise is a good, good thing to compare this game to, because they're somewhat similar. Like the Arkham games, depending on if you've done any of the side missions by the end of, if you have any side missions left to do by the end of the game, and all that stuff, then really there's not going to be anything left to do in free roam in those games either. Like I've played Arkham Knight, pretty much finished everything about it, in terms of the game itself. And really, like, after you do that, there's not much reason to go back to the game all that much, which is unfortunate. Also, since I'm talking about the Arkham games, that might be the next LP I'll do. I don't know, considering, I don't know, I'd have to find a decent, maybe somewhat schedule for that, because if I do that game, that's going to be like the lengthiest game I've done on this channel yet. Like, so far, this game might be the lengthiest. Maybe not so much the lengthiest, but more traditional, I guess, because, like, the past 3 LPs I did before this one was basically horror games. We did Outlast, its DLC, and then Slender, which kind of plays similar and such, but, so yeah, they were just kind of a little samey. Here it's a bit different, but Arkham, oh my gosh, that's completely different. And now that I think about it, that Return to Arkham collection is coming out eventually, so maybe if I decide to pick that up, maybe I'll LP those first. That way we can have an LP of basically the 3 main games. I don't know. I could make a separate video talking about my thoughts on that and what the next LP I'm going to do, but anyway. Back to this, but yeah, the city's not very lively after you finish the game, really. Like, there's occasional guys, we can go ahead and beat the crap out of. There's, obviously, let's see here, if I can just, see, like, hostage situations, which there's no way to make those all go away. Those are always going to be something that's happening. Yeah, I mean, this is basically all you're doing if you do hostage take, things. Oh, hey, beat the crap out of 3 guys and I rescued someone. Alright. That's literally all it is, and those never go away. Those will just be like, hey, do this, even though you've done basically, like, probably 50 times by now. And then you have these, which are the drive-by shootings. And all you do for those is basically shoot the car and now, hey, blow up everybody. That's all. There's not much to them. So that's the reason why I'm definitely not showing those off, because, my gosh, they're not even worth showing off. It's like, what is there to show off about those? You just kill people. That's all you freaking do. You kill the enemies. But, anyway, yeah, I don't think there's, much more I can really say without, rambling on, which I probably am doing already. But yeah, I guess I'll try to say a few more final thoughts. Basically, yeah, I'm glad I played this. I had some fun when I first played this. Matter of fact, I'm trying to think actually. When's the last time because I mentioned before how I think I only really played through the story mode of this one time before this LP. I'm just trying to think like when that time was, because every once in a while I kind of, you know, started up the game, but I'm trying to think of the last time I started it up, you know, when the story mode side of things ended, because that was probably in 2014, 2015, because I think that's when this game went up for PlayStation Plus, was like maybe April something of 2015 when I got it. Because I don't think I got my PS4 until like 2015. So, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, but it had been sometime in like relatively maybe like earlier mid 2015 when I got this game, and I finished the story relatively soon after that. So really, you know, it didn't soak up too much of my time, but it didn't need to. Oh yeah, I was trying to find a building to kind of stand on as I end this video. Um, 'Cause like I said, I don't think there's really much more I can say at this point. Um, but yeah, I had a fun time with it. Okay, when I played it, and jump up there, Fetch. Come on, thank you. Uh, but yeah, I don't know how much this is, if because it's its own kind of standalone DLC to Infamous First Son. Yeah, Infamous First. Okay, yeah, actually, no, I screwed that up. I was thinking I didn't because it was whatever. Infamous Second Son, not First Son. Um, I'm not sure how much this is going for on PlayStation Store now. Um, if it's ever gotten a price drop or if it's just stayed the same. My bet would probably be like $20, if even, maybe like 14 or so. Um, so yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously still on PlayStation Store. If any of you are interested, you can go ahead and pick this game up. It's something that you can spend at least a couple hours in, and have some fun with it. But I would advise play if you're gonna pick this up. Probably it'd be a good time to play Infamous Second Son afterwards if you haven't, which is something I still haven't done, and at this rate, I don't know if I will, considering this is a prequel to Infamous Second Son, as I did not know when I first had the game, which is why it kind of ends somewhat abruptly. But yeah, all right. I think this is kind of gone on long enough. So, all of you that have all of you who have watched the previous parts, thank you for watching, and just watching like any of my videos in general. Thank you so much for watching. If you happen to be one of the people that has subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for that too. It's much appreciated. Um, so, what I'll be doing next in terms of like a big LP or just LP in general, I kind of touched on this earlier. I don't really know. I mean, you might not see an LP for not probably a long time, but for some time. If anything, you'll probably just see more best moment in kind of montages on my channel, probably from GTA maybe, or maybe even some other games. Who knows? And maybe you'll see some more videos as part of the Thoughts and Theories series that I've recently started up on my channel. Maybe I'll do some more of those, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyway, so this, thank you all for watching my videos, and yeah. So with that said, thank you all for watching. Have a good night and take care.